Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Eddie Spradlen Show, where we cover everything on the field inside of Burley Stadium with the Greeneville Green Devils. As always, I'm joined here with head football coach Eddie Spradlen. Coach, how are we doing today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for sitting out here with me inside of beautiful Burley Stadium.
Oh, yeah. Another pretty day out here, man.
You can't beat it. Temperatures are starting to cool down just a little bit. We're in the mid-70s today, early here on Monday afternoon. We're on the turf. It's feeling good, not too hot. Wind's blowing a little bit, and we got football around the corner.
Can't get any better than that, can it?
It can't. We're excited. I know you're excited. You've got Tennessee High coming up. We've had a few scrimmages since the last time we've sat down and talked. I know you had one recently here on Friday, so go ahead and jump into that. What did you learn from your team a little bit in that scrimmage?
You know, I'm really proud of our effort from those guys in that scrimmage. We had some guys really step up and make some big plays. And, off the top, we talked about, you were asking, who's the guys that were going to step up that people might not know really that expect them. One guy that really stepped up, had a big night, was Taryn Clarity out there at receiver. He had, I think he ended up with 3 or 4 catches for probably over 100 yards. So he had a really good night, and I'm really proud of our effort as a football team, how hard we played. There's a lot of stuff. It's early in the fall. We still got a lot to improve on to get ready for a big game against Tennessee High, but really proud of and excited about where we're at this point.
Are there any things you've kind of tweaked and worked on in these preseason activities so far between scrimmages and 7-on-7s?
Just continue to, really be physical. The physical part of the game's what's helped us be successful. Like we've talked before, what we do in the weight room, then how we practice and trying to carry it over to those games. And I think we've done a good job of that. Got to set the tempo that we're going to be the most physical football team on Friday night on both sides of the football. And it's got to start with our O-line. Our O-lines continue to get better and, coming off the ball. And we've got to, this week in practice, continue to, stay on those blocks. And then, defensive line's got to do a really good job of, continuing to win the line of scrimmage. And it's all going to, start with both of those groups. If we can do that on both sides of the ball, I think we got a chance to be successful. Every Friday night we play, but it's got to start up front for us to be successful.
And starting up front, those boys hit the weight room a lot. We did an interview in the weight room last year, and you just mentioned it. Let's talk about the weight room a little bit. Let's talk about how hard those boys have been hitting the weight room. That's something that I think you see a lot of out of Greeneville is these kids come from the middle school and they gain a lot of weight. A lot of that weight's in muscle too. You have to be physical. Playing for a football too, how detrimental is the work in the weight room for your team?
It's the backbone of this program. We're going to be in there. Like right now, we've got our freshman kids. As soon as they get done with school every day, they're not in a weightlifting class during the day. They're in the fall. So as soon as they get it done with school, they miss practice time to go in there in the weight room. So they get their lift that the varsity does during that time. Then they come to practice as soon as they get done with that. But, and we're going to lift them 4 days a week during the season. Those young guys, they're going, during the season they play on Mondays, the JV games. But as soon as school's out on Mondays on a JV game, they're going to come up here and get an upper body lift before they go play those games. It's just, it's the long-term investment that we want to put in those guys. Majority of those guys are not going to help us out on Friday night. And who keeps track of a Monday night record? Nobody knows you win or lose those games. It really don't matter. It's just getting out there and getting after it. And we're not going to jeopardize what we're going to do in the weight room. We're going to spend another day in there and then, come out here and get a practice in with those guys. But, we're fortunate to get our varsity guys in the weight room during the school day, fourth period. So we're going to grind 3 or 4 days a week with them during the season. And it's not just show up there and put a lift on the board. It's, we're working together as a team, doing everything together, and it's a real organized program that, Coach Simpkins, Coach Bearfield really put together, and then we work that plan out here from what we do before we go in the weight room. Got a good speed program that we continue to do during the season. Just a lot of teams put that aside, just because time.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to make time if you want what you want your program to be, and, we take the time because that's what we want during the season as well.
Still have 1,000-pound club?
Oh, yeah. We have that, and, we've got one thing we've kind of done recently, we've put some small boards up in the weight room that's got mile per hour teams. You got to run. We do a lot of time flies and seeing how fast they're running, and different all this stuff that Coach Simpkins got that a lot smarter than I am to come out with these times that they're running. But those speeds are up there, and those guys are trying to do their best to get on the board in there. So it's been good. And we got a T-shirt club for different lifts if you can do a different weight. So just all kinds of different ways to get those guys motivated to continue to work as hard as they can.
People don't understand too. Sometimes a T-shirt, that's an incentive. You get that T-shirt,
sure.
It means something.
Get up if you're our highest mile per hour club right now is a 22 mile an hour club. If you get up on that and you're in front of your teammates, you're getting up and signing that thing. It's pretty special to get up on that board. And those kids are, if they're on one of the lower right now, and we were doing it last week, they were talking about I'm 0.5 away from being on the 22 mile or the 20 mile an hour club. It just it's motivation for them to try to get up on there. So it's any just like today's kids, we kind of talked about, I think before, they need something real quick to let them know where they stand with other people. And for them to, as soon as they get done, we're timing those times. They know what their time is, what they're trying to beat. We're using the laser and timing systems. So, and you know what, in the weight room, you get it right then anyways. But, they want to know where they're at so they continue to push themselves to get better.
That's something you alluded to last week when we had the quarterback conversation. Competition kind of brings the best out of each other. So when you're competing against your other teammates to be quicker than they are, to be stronger than they are, that competition is an incentive to get those T-shirts, like you said, to sign that board. It's also making you better on the field, and that's something that I don't know if they quite think of it that way, as get better on the field. They're just trying to beat their teammates and be the best in their mind. But in the grand scheme of things, it's helping them out here on the field.
Yeah, it's, learning to compete, it starts in there. In our off-season stuff, we go from January to, right up till the June during the dead period, and that's a long time. But during that time, we're trying to teach them how to compete against each other because ultimately it's going to make us better as a football team.
And I can't wait to see the first game here at Burley Stadium on August 23rd against Tennessee High. We'll talk about them a little bit in the second half, though. But as usual, we got to get a word from our sponsors in. We didn't do that last week, so we'll do it this week. We'll go ahead and jump into a break and see you right here in just a minute here on Grassroots Media.
For more than 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has served customers in East Tennessee with licensed and professional plumbing services. From installing your new faucet to replacing your existing piping system, our team at Tommy's Plumbing is trained to handle the job with professionalism, attention to detail, and integrity. By offering warranties on most products installed by our technicians, Tommy's Plumbing stands behind our work, ensuring that your plumbing needs are not only met, but that your problem is solved for the long term. When you need reliable and professional plumbing service, Tommy's is the only call to make. So give us a call today and let us show you the Tommy's difference.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Eddie Spradlen Show, where we cover everything on the field inside of Burley Stadium with the Greeneville Green Devils. As always, I'm joined here with head coach Eddie Spradlen. So we've talked about leading up to August 23rd. 7:30 kickoff here at Burley Stadium. You've got Tennessee High to kick off the season. I know the excitement's in the air. It's that moment you look forward to all season long. Through the summer, whenever dead week ends, you start to do 7-on-7s and scrimmages. You start looking forward towards that date of August 23rd. Well, it's rapidly approaching. We're almost there to that date, only a few days away. Talk about what you expect whenever you take the field here in Burley Stadium at 7:30 on August 23rd against Tennessee High.
Man, like you talked about, it's exciting. You know, it seems like forever since we've had an opening game here in Burley Stadium. You know, get the fans here to start the season off, not having to go on the road is going to be special. So a lot of buzz around our football team right now, and going against a really good football team in Tennessee High. You know, they're Coach Holton, a young guy, and is, you know, as a head coach there, has been there a couple of years, but you know, he's got that. He's trying to change the culture a little with that football program, doing things like he wants them done. And you know, it was a really physical football game with them last year. To expect nothing but the same this year. You know, they got turning a lot of talented guys. They turned some really good offensive and defensive linemen for them. So it'll be a big challenge for our football team, but one that we're really excited about.
What do you expect from their defense?
You know, it's going to be, you know, last year they're going to try to get as many guys in the box to try to stop our run. They're going to be big up front on the defensive line. They returned some really good guys up there for them. They're going to put them linebackers. They had some big physical linebackers in there. They're going to load the box on us. They're going to try to make us stop our. They're going to try to make stop our run game to make us throw the football. You know, we've had some success in the preseason throwing the ball, so that might slow that down a little. Like we've mentioned, we got some special guys out on the edge that we can get the ball to, but you had some big plays last year. Carson Quillen had a really big game catching the football for us last year against them. So, you know, they're going to have to make some adjustments, I think, but, you know, expect a really good football team to come in here on August 23rd.
What is your defense going to have to prepare for? What do you expect to see out of their offense? What are kind of some of the sets that they're going to run against you?
You know, I think they're going to establish they want to win the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
Same thing. They've got you know, some really good offensive linemen back. They've got a couple tight ends, so they're going to line up and run it straight at us, and you know, set up the play action stuff against us. But you know, we're going to get a lot of formations with tight ends, and you know, what we've seen I think it'd be good. What we've went against, you know, against Tennessee High or Science Hill and Daniel Boone in the preseason has been good look for what we're going to see. So really, it's going to be a challenge for us. We got to, you know, run to the football, continue to make tackles, win the line of scrimmage up front for us, because you know, like I said, that's what they're going to come into to try to win the line of scrimmage. They got some big backs that they want to get the football to.
And last but not least, everybody's favorite question. You got 3 keys of the game each week. What are they this week against Tennessee High?
You know, for us, you know, like we've mentioned multiple times today, we've got to win the line of scrimmage, really on both sides of the football. But for us to be successful, that's got to be key number 1. Key number 2 is, you know, you can't have dumb penalties in an early game, because it's going to come down to, you know, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who makes less mistakes in the you know, first game. Everybody's going to make some dumb penalties or turn the football over here or there in early football games, but we got to make sure and limit, you know, the dumb penalties and mistakes that we make. And thirdly, you know, we've got to make sure we're the better conditioned football team, because it's going to come out. You know, I think we had them, it's 21 or 24 to nothing at halftime last year, and you know, I think we kind of, as a football team, it was, you know, you go in there's no place to go. At halftime, you can't get underneath their stadium. They're doing construction. You can't walk all the way back. It's about a mile walk to where we dress. So it was not the best halftime environment. There, you know, fans were coming down amongst us. So, you know, I don't know if we let off the pedal a little or we relaxed because we're up big. But you know, they got back into it. We turned the football over and let them get back in the game. And you know, probably our conditioning, we got to make sure that it's the best that we can be, and really, you know, the next 2 weeks really push that as hard as we can to make sure we're in the best shape. You know, I think the scrimmages have been good, but what we do after practice and how we practice is really going to be big for us to make sure we're ready to game 1.
I think that wraps up the preview for Tennessee High. I know it's opening day, or I guess you can call it opening day, opening night. Opening kickoff here on Friday night. Is there any special activities going on here at Burley Stadium?
Not that I'm aware of right now. You know, it should be a big crowd, a lot of people, you know, excited about football. And like we mentioned, it's the first time in a while we've opened up, you know, the season at home. So expect a big crowd, and then come out and support those guys. And, you know, more they get into it as fans, the more those guys are going to be fired up and ready to go on Friday night.
I know we look around, there's a lot of seating here. It seems like you could find a seat if you show here at game time.
Yeah, for sure.
but that's not always the case. So like we said last year, show up a little early. Show up 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour early. You can get a better seat there. You get a better parking spot. You won't have to park down at the old McDonald's and the Arby's down there and have to walk near a mile down here. But that's all we've got. If you do come, make sure you show up early. Coach, I appreciate you once again.
Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely.
Go Devils.
Hopefully we'll get a win here on Friday night against Tennessee High when that does happen on August 23rd. But until then, thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Eddie Spradlen Show. We look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.